Who hears me say it, Raymond? And then let's talk about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial that's been going on for the past couple of days, with the biggest news coming out so far being that Heard is accusing Johnny Depp of sexually assaulting her, with her lawyer saying in court yesterday.
She loved the side of Johnny that we see in the movies, the charismatic one, the charming one, the generous one. That's the man she fell in love with. But sadly, the monster came in the way. And that monster would come out when he was drinking and when he would take the drugs. Some pretty horrendous things happened to her. He rips off her nightgown. He has her jammed up against a bar. He has hurled bottles and bottles at her. He has dragged her across the floor on the broken bottles and the liquor. He has punched her. He has kicked her. He tells her he's going to kill her. He hates her. He's pounding at her, pounding her. And then he penetrates her with a liquor bottle. That's the Johnny Depp that you're going to hear about in this case.
And many are seeing this as a major new accusation because while Heard has accused Depp of domestic abuse and what was referred to as sexual violence numerous times, she had never specifically said he sexually assaulted her. However, with this, you had Depp's lawyer pushing back against that claim.
Ms. Heard had never made that accusation against Mr. Depp. It was never part of her allegations of abuse. So what changed? What changed between 2016 and 2018? We submit to you, and the evidence will show, when she realized the seriousness of what she had alleged, she panicked, and she alleged sexual assault.
Right, all of this is part of the massive lawsuit, counter-lawsuit trial that's now underway just outside of DC. Though notably, the alleged assaults and abuse are really only an indirect part of this whole trial. Right, if you don't remember, Depp first filed a lawsuit against Heard after she published a Washington Post op-ed in which she alluded to Depp's alleged domestic abuse against her, though she never technically used his name in that. But still, you had Depp suing her for $50 million, claiming Heard had concocted her allegations as a hoax to ruin his career. And in turn, Heard then filed a $100 million counterclaim. And so in court, we saw Depp's legal team continuing to argue that Heard ruined his reputation as he's never faced allegations of this nature before.
No one had ever, in 5 decades, no one had ever accused Johnny Depp of being abusive of any kind with a woman. That's why it was such a jolt. No one had even suggested ever that he was capable of something like this.
And consistent with Depp's claims in the past, his legal team argued that it was actually Heard that was the perpetrator of abuse, and arguing that she was twisting the narrative to aid her image.
Ms. Heard would go to great lengths and even resort to physical violence to stop Mr. Depp from leaving her. But once Mr. Depp did leave, Ms. Heard tried to avoid public humiliation and present herself as a noble survivor and representative of the Me Too movement.
You also had Heard's team arguing that Depp had an agenda of his own here, saying that he filed his lawsuit against Heard and not the Washington Post for specific reasons.
He could have sued the Washington Post. They published the article, but he didn't. And he chose to bring Amber to court here in Virginia, where she has no ties, has never lived, he's never lived, where they never spent any time, because he wanted to make her life hard. He wanted to ruin her life. He wanted to destroy her.
There's also been more happening today with Depp's friend Isaac Baruch, for example, taking the stand. At one point saying gracious things about her, that she was always respectful to him, but also saying that he never saw Depp hit her.
Have I ever seen him be violent to her with physicality? No.
Did you ever see him hit her?
Never.
Also saying he never saw a bruise on Amber and that he was beyond shocked by the photo of it that many have seen online.
Surprised is not the word. It's like, what the hell is this? What's going on?
And when asked if he was angry at Heard, he said he wasn't so much as mad as he was tired.
So many people have been affected by this malicious lie that she started and she created, and it's gone out the door and around the world. His family has been completely wrecked by all of this stuff, and it's not fair. It's not right what she did and what happened.
Also, while Isaac was on the stand, you had Heard's team questioning him about texts Johnny had allegedly sent about Amber, where he said he hoped her rotting corpse is decomposing in the fucking trunk of a Honda Civic, with Isaac confirming those texts to be real. And obviously, as this goes on, we're gonna hear from a lot more people with different relationships to this case, and we'll have to see what they say and where things go from here. But for now, that's where we are, and of course, I'll pass the question off to you. What are your thoughts so far? But from that, I want to take a second to thank the fantastic sponsor of today's show, Stamps.com/Phil. Whether you're a small office sending out invoices, an online seller shipping orders, or even a giant warehouse sending out thousands of packages today, Stamps.com is perfect for any size business. We're all busy enough as it is, and personally I love how convenient and cost-effective this is for me and my business. I can even get all mailing and shipping done without even leaving my house. Because for more than 20 years, Stamps.com has been indispensable for over 1 million businesses. You can print official US postage from your computer 24/7, no special supplies or equipment needed. And with Stamps.com/Phil, you get exclusive discounts on post office rates like 40% off USPS and 76% off UPS rates. Stamps.com saves me time and money, freeing me up to produce the show, work on the new studio, and create new designs for the next beautiful bastard drop. So yeah, save time, save money. Head on over to Stamps.com/Phil, and you'll get a 4-week trial, free postage, and a scale. There's no risk, no long-term commitments, no contracts, and never go to the post office again. It's Stamps.com/Phil. And then let's talk about the subway shooting that happened in New York yesterday, because we've gotten a lot of updates. So starting off, we got the massive news this afternoon that after a nearly 30-hour manhunt, the suspect behind the shooting was finally caught and arrested by law enforcement, with the person in question being a 62-year-old black man who has addresses in Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Police had previously flagged him as a person of interest yesterday, but this morning, New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced that he was upgraded to a suspect. And during a press conference announcing his arrest this afternoon, law enforcement officials said that the man will be charged for committing a terrorist act on mass transit, meaning if he is convicted, he will face life in prison. The officials also noted that he has a very long history of run-ins with the law, this including 9 prior arrests in New York and 3 in New Jersey. Though, notably, they also said reports that he had previously been investigated by the FBI were false. And as far as why it took so long to identify this man, authorities previously said that their investigation was hindered by issues with security cameras, with Adams saying yesterday a malfunction in at least one camera at the site of the shooting resulted in its failure to record the attack. Luckily, other evidence at the scene led them to the suspect, with police telling reporters in the presser this afternoon that they have videos of him entering the Kings Highway station, where they believe he took the train to 36th Street, adding that the station is just 3 blocks away from where he parked a U-Haul truck that he rented, and the key to the truck was found at the scene of the shooting. They also found other items tying him to the crime, including a credit card with his name, spent shell casings, smoke bombs, and most notably, the handgun used in the shooting, which they confirmed had been purchased by the suspect in Ohio. Now, as far as his motive, law enforcement said that this is still under investigation, as are dozens of disturbing, bigoted YouTube videos he posted where he goes on these extended rants expressing very controversial, disgusting views and violence. Right, with those videos having surfaced after he was named as a person of interest, though YouTube has since removed his account. And according to reports, the suspect's videos go back as far as 2016, including some posts where he uses slurs, insults women, and makes racist comments. This, including against black people, specifically blaming black women for violence among black people. In several videos, he discusses death, another one where he talks about a race war and the desire to exterminate specific people. In another, he argues that there need to be more mass shootings, as well as a recent video from Monday where he said that he experienced the desire to kill people but said he didn't want to go to jail. And many of his rants, yes, they focus on current events, but there's a big race angle to a lot of it. There's one, for example, where he's talking about Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and he expresses how disappointed and seemingly is like crying that she's married to a white man. Another video focused on the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which he said pointed as evidence that white people are genocidal. And then separately, but maybe significant, we also saw him post content criticizing Mayor Adams' recent policies on public safety and homeless outreach on subways, seeming to imply that he himself experienced homelessness and mental health crises. But ultimately, we'll have to wait and see what comes from the investigation and charges. Ultimately where I want to end this story is by focusing on a hero. Or when we talk about mass shooters who've already been arrested or they've been killed, we don't show their face or name, because a lot of these monsters, they're looking just for that infamy. And so the person I want to feature is this 21-year-old camera installer by the name of Zach, who multiple outlets are now reporting is actually the person who first found the shooter, with Zach telling reporters that he saw the man this afternoon while installing security cameras in the East Village and immediately called the cops, and adding,
"Thank God we got him. Thank you very much."
So that's where I want to end this story. Zach, there is no question about it. You are our BAMF of the day. And then in, oh my God, that's creepy news. Apparently there are a number of men who decided, I'm not going to find my soulmate or hook up through Tinder or Bumble. Instead, I'm going to jump headfirst into the refugee housing program. Yes, really. And the focal point today is on the UK. Right, because back on March 14th, the government launched its Homes for Ukraine website with 100,000 people signing up to host a refugee in the first day alone, with each household taking in a refugee being offered £350 a month tax-free. And we have people like Bojo celebrating this on Twitter, calling it fantastic and thanking everyone involved. Very quickly, we saw criticisms from groups like Positive Action and Housing, a charity helping refugees find sponsors, calling the program a gimmick, saying that it gives false hope when none of those it's supporting had gotten visas after 2 weeks, adding that many refugees were having to turn to social media for sponsors where they could fall prey to human traffickers. Another charity called Refugee Action calling the program potentially a Tinder for sex traffickers, with stories from refugees popping up, like one woman saying I was approached by one older guy from London who said I would have to share a bedroom with him, as well as the instance of a Times reporter posing as a Ukrainian woman this week saying that within minutes of posting on the largest Facebook group for refugees, refugees, she was inundated with inappropriate messages. With things like one man telling her, "I'm ready to help you and maybe you can help me also." And apparently it's now gotten to the point where the United Nations Refugee Agency is calling on the UK government to please stop pairing single men with single women and implement safeguards to prevent predatory behavior. With the spokesperson saying matching done without the appropriate oversight may lead to increasing the risk women may face, in addition to the trauma of displacement, family separation, and violence already experienced. But ultimately, for now, we're gonna have to wait to see what happens. And then let's talk about the war in Ukraine, which does not look like it's going to end anytime soon, especially as Vladimir Putin said that negotiations have hit a dead end. However, it does seem that he's narrowed down